Hello everyone and welcome back to Live Life. This is video number 2 and thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate everyone last week who watched my first video. I was very nervous, but I had really positive feedback and I also got some feedback that was helping me with a few things that I did wrong. Therefore, I now have landscape. I hope you're all doing well. I know at the moment there is a lot of really crazy things going on in the world. So I hope that you have had a positive moment this week, whether that's doing something for yourself or being able to Skype your friends and family or eating some delicious cheese. So today I would like to talk about social comparison, in particular, how there are different ways to evaluate yourself that isn't to do with comparing yourself to other people. And so I would like to unpack that a bit more into why it actually is so detrimental. But also, it is really hard not to, because Leon Festinger in 1954, little fun fact here, suggested this idea of social comparison theory. He said that we innately compare ourselves to one another, and this is because we don't always have objective measures in the world to actually evaluate ourselves on. So there are two types of social comparison. There's upward and downward. So upward is all about looking up at people that are more successful than you. This could be in any regard. And then the opposite is downward, where you're looking at people that aren't doing as well as you, and that's how you evaluate yourself. And I think at the moment, because there are a lot of people not seeing others and they are in isolation, it's a great chance for us to start changing how we are evaluating ourselves and not doing so much of this upward and downward social comparison. So the issue with downward comparison is if we are looking at other people's misfortune to evaluate ourselves, what actually happens is you start to put your self-worth and your self-esteem into other people. So I'll give you an example. I've just lost my job. That's fine because my friend hasn't had a job in 3 years. So you're basically trying to make yourself feel better by putting other people down or by thinking about their misfortune. Now, the issue with this is then if your friend starts to move up or they start doing better in their career, your self-esteem shatters because your whole self-worth and self-esteem is based on this person being more misfortunate than you or not doing or being less successful than you. So it's not to say you're a bad person for doing this. I think everyone has done this before where you've had a terrible day and to make yourself feel better, you'll go, well, at least I'm not doing as badly as this person. As long as you're checking yourself and trying to work on ensuring that you aren't comparing yourself to others in a negative way like that, then it's okay to have slip-ups. However, if you don't realize that this is a bad thing you're doing, then what can happen is if they start becoming more successful than you, you will start to bring them down, be nasty about them, and be horrible about them behind their back. I've seen this happen multiple times with friends. And the reason is if you're constantly looking down on people or using other people as a way to evaluate yourself, if that person then skyrockets in success, your whole self-worth crumbles, and the only way to get it back is to pull them back down. Have a quick chat about upward social comparison. So the big thing with upward social comparison is you're constantly comparing people's positives with your negatives. So if you're looking at someone's greatness and their success, that's what they're putting out. They're putting out the successful things in their life. They're not going to show themselves waking up with baggy eyes when they've just lost their job the day before. Whereas you're comparing yourself to all the negatives, the highs, the lows, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So it is not an equal comparison. The second problem is if we are doing the second problem is if you're feeling sad or you're worried about a particular aspect of your life not finding success or that you're not doing well in something, we will compare that to people that are doing well in it. The issue is with that is generally people that do upward social comparison, they then do not go, okay, here is me having lots of friends and family, and they don't. They'll only look at the things that they do not have themselves. The third issue with upward social comparison is we are all in different timelines and on different paths, yet we expect to have the same things when we are comparing with others that are doing more successful than us. So you may have spent your whole 20s making friends, getting closer with your family, traveling the world, and you may have a really great social circle. But then you go and compare yourself to someone who spent their 20s getting a job, getting a house, getting a cute little puppy, and you will go, oh, I don't have those things. However, you've chosen a different path, you're on a different timeline, because they could turn around and look at you and go, oh, I haven't done any of those things myself. They're more successful than me. The thing is, we are all making different choices constantly, which lead us down different paths and gives us different options in our life. Just remember that things happen at different times for different people. Overall, the best way to evaluate yourself when you don't have an objective way to do it is looking at yourself. Oh my gosh, the hidden truth. We need to look back to ourselves 2, 3, 5 years ago and look at where we are now. Now, if you're not happy with that, it is now more realistic to then make goals and changes in your life that are appropriate to you. Whereas if you're looking at someone else and comparing how much success they have and trying to make goals to get to where they are, that's not going to work because you don't know their past experiences. You only know a snippet. However, we aren't perfect as humans and we will do that downward and upward comparison at times. So I've got a few little tips to do it in a positive way. So when you are looking at people that are better than you in upward social comparison, ensure that you're using them as a guide and a learning tool rather than comparing yourself. So for example, if you have someone that is achieving a goal that you would like to achieve, rather than getting upset about it and putting yourself down, look at the different things that they have done in order to get there. And that can be a really positive thing too, in that the fact that if you are looking at what someone has done in order to achieve that goal that you want, you might actually find that you don't want to do those things to get there. So it actually will eliminate that need to do that thing or find that success because you're not going to do it. You wouldn't do it anyway, which I actually spoke about in my last video. With downward social comparison, if you are going to be looking at people that are more misfortunate than you in order to evaluate yourself, make sure it is done in a positive way. So do not do it in a negative way and that you put your whole self-worth and self-esteem into someone else because you've used their misfortune to actually feel better and be happy about it. Use it in a way to become more caring, compassionate, and grateful. So thank you so much for watching, getting through to almost the end of the video. And just a little bit of advice for people that are in isolation or aren't seeing many people at the moment. Please try and use this time to start learning how to evaluate yourself with yourself. Stop comparing yourself to others. And if you do compare yourself to others, like we all do sometimes, try and do them in a positive way. And I will see you next week. Bye.